Hey, Kathy. There we go. That's better. Can you hear me okay? Okay, good. To bring this up. Yeah, that's better. Okay. You, Valerie, me, pin. There we go. All right. All righty. Okay. Here. It's better. Modular mates are good for an awful lot of things, including as a riser for your computer when you're doing an event like this. Okay. Now we just need some people. Oh, 3 people in the waiting room. Admit all. Oh, admit all. There we go. Okay. Is anybody else besides me? Kathy, are you able to see when someone comes into the waiting room? Do you get a little message that someone is in the waiting room? No? Oh. Okay. Well, I guess I'm just going to have to. Hello, hello, everybody. Come off mute if you wish for a few minutes till we get things going here, because apparently I'm going to be adding people into the waiting room. I'm going to get a little. Microwave magic trick ready to. Showing off my very, very old school Tupperware. Yes, this is a Tupperware product I got from my mom. We called it Jaws back in the day. Um, and it was one that I actually sold when I first started in Tupperware. So you have uh, your wax paper and or your foil in here too. And then to cut it, you just go to chunk like that. Ah, fun, huh? I love it. There we go. And another one like, oh, maybe I don't need two. No, I don't need two. I only need one. I just got reminded of something tonight. Oh, yeah, I just need one. There. We're going to do a microwave magic trick. Problem is, it calls for Pyrex, and I don't have any Pyrex in my house. Substitute for Pyrex. Probably just a glass will do. Yeah, a glass should do. She said, hopefully. Well, you know what? Actually, there. This might be better because it came with a hot drink in it. So from Stage West at the Mayfield Inn from 1991. Oh my goodness sakes, isn't that hilarious? All right. Oh, and I need a little glass of water. We're gonna do that. Do that, and I need a cup of water. Let's use my micro pitcher. There we go. Okay. Anybody else in the waiting room? Anybody else see? All right. Well, you know what? We're going to get going. It's 7:05 and welcome. We have Kathy. Let me get to the view here. Gallery. Let's see who all's here. Kathy and Joyce and Brenda and Crystal and Tabitha. Anybody else that I'm missing? No? Okay. You're all very quiet. I like it better when you take yourself off mute so you can actually talk to me um, unless you've got noise in behind you. It's a lot more fun if you
Okay.
yourself off. There you go. There, thank you. And it's better for me because otherwise I'm just talking, talking to a speaker and it just is, it's weird. It's weird. Okay. Anyway, welcome everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here with me tonight to do a microwave cooking class. Now, this is more a microwave information class. I will be doing some cooking, but a lot of it is you're going to get lots of microwave information. I will post, I've got a couple pages here uh, one of the microwave cooking made easy and another couple pages of microwave cooking tips. I will post both of these because there are lots of good tips. I'm not going to give them all to you here tonight. I'm going off memory and I probably don't remember a lot. So you'll want to look through these, but there are some basic rules about microwaving in general. And then having the right tools with any job that you're doing. Doesn't matter if you're building a house, if you're making dinner, if you're doing a Tupperware party, if you're a school teacher or whatever you do, if you don't have the right tools and you don't have the know-how, you're not going to get great results. Would everybody agree with that? Say yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Well, that's the thing about the microwave, that an awful lot of people, microwaves have been around since I remember my first microwave experience was in probably 1975 when I was in high school. And my boyfriend at the time had his mom and dad just got a microwave. It was just amazing. It was magic. And we went over there one day after school and he said, "Look at this." And he took a hot dog out of the freezer and he put it in the microwave and put it in for 2 minutes, probably, or a minute and a half. And in that time, the hot dog got so hot, it exploded. And it was just absolutely mind-blowingly magic. We all said, "Oh my gosh, this is just the most amazing thing ever." And at the time, there were some people, like my mom was pretty good about embracing new things. And so she got a couple how to microwave cookbooks and she did a few things. But back then, they didn't really know much about it. And so many people were freaked out. Something like the car was, or electric cars are today, that people just don't understand it. It's something so totally new and outside their box that they just don't get it. They can't compute. And they say, "Whoa, no, not doing that. Not doing that. Stove works fine for me. Thank you very much." And they have maybe tried doing some things in the past, like cooking eggs or cooking chicken in the microwave. And how many of you have had the experience that you cook eggs or you cook chicken and they come out really tough? Has anybody had that
Mm.
experience? Yeah, exactly. Well, we'll explain why that happens tonight and how to avoid it. But it was a matter that most people didn't have the know-how or they had virtually no know-how and they didn't have the right tools, so they got crappy results. So when they got crappy results, then they made the assumption that it was the microwave's fault. But it isn't the microwave's fault, it's the operator's fault because they don't have the tools and they don't have the knowledge. And so it has been my mission since about 1993 when Tupperware first came out with the first Ultra 21 cookware. Who remembers Ultra 21? That's
Mhm.
the predecessor to, excuse me, to Ultra Pro. It was the first Tupperware ovenware. Kathy, you
Mhm.
know that it's the just because I know Kathy was around at that time in Tupperware, not because she's that old, because she was around at that time in Tupperware, because she was with me,
Yeah.
with Sonia. But, and we had an awful lot of fun with that because now we could finally do something. We could do some cooking. Up until that point, all we could do was talk about things, maybe talk about vegetables a bit, but there wasn't much cooking we could do. Well, the first recipe that we did in the microwave in the Ultra 21 was one that I think I would like to start off with right now. It is the cinnamon pull-aparts that we made in the Ultra 21, but now the Ultra 21 was replaced a few years later with the stack cooker. And the stack cooker, all of you are familiar with the stack cooker. Do I have to go through the stack cooker a lot? Brenda and Crystal and Tabitha, I'd really appreciate it if you could, if you're watching, if you can at least shout out, or hopefully you're there. Um, the stack cooker is my all-time favorite piece of Tupperware. I have used this, not this specific one, but I have used the stack cooker day in and day out for the last, can you believe it, Kathy? 30 years. It came out
Mhm.
in 1993. This is
Yeah.
30 years old. It has been every color under the sun, but the facts about it haven't changed. It is still made of the most heat resistant plastic in the world. It is a material that is on the Canadarm space satellite. It's that space technology and that advanced. It is also microwave efficient, meaning that the microwave energy passes through just like sunlight through a window and does what it does to the food, which I'll explain what it does in just a second. But it doesn't stay in the container. How many of you have Pyrex or Corningware and you've cooked in that and you've noticed that you take that out of the microwave, you cook some vegetables or something for dinner, you put it on the table, and pretty soon you have to keep reheating it all the time because the food gets cold. The container's nice and warm, but the food gets colder. Has anybody had that experience? Probably not
Mhm.
now, but Pyrex and Corningware and all of those are ceramic, are a heat conductor. And so they take up 30% of your cooking time just to heat up the container. And because they're a heat conductor, they like to stay hot. They like to get hot first, and then they like to stay hot. And so they will actually take the heat out of your food so that the container can stay as warm as it can for as long as possible. So that's a huge disadvantage when you're wanting to use this for cooking and serving. It takes a lot longer to cook. Plus, things cool off faster, and it's not nearly as efficient because there are hot spots and so on. The stack cooker is totally microwave efficient, so it's very quick to cook. It'll cook a lot faster. Plus, it has lots of pieces. It has the cooking cover, the colander, which we're going to use in a couple minutes because I'm going to cook some hamburger in here as well. It has the 1 3/4 liter casserole and the 3 liter casserole, which I'm going to use right now. And yes, I've got more than one stack cooker in my kitchen just because it is that valuable. And of course, it has the cone, which we're going to use for our microwave magic trick here in just a second. But it's also fantastic on the bottom here for making cakes. And you can also use it in this colander. Those of you who make meatloaf, you can make your meatloaf in here, pack it around the colander, then all of that fat is going to fall down below. You're going to be left with a spring meatloaf that is lovely and lean. You just uh, turn it over, put your plate on top, flip it over, and you've got a fabulous circular meatloaf that is easy to slice. It's beautifully lean and so easy because the microwave has done all the work for you. But my favorite, my first recipe is still one of my favorites. And I'm using tonight the brand new, if you haven't seen this yet, I'm using our brand new, not even available to order yet, cutting board. This is, it's very thin. It's all plastic. It's very flexible, which is very cool. And on the back, you can't really see it. You can see it's kind of checkerboardy. You can't feel it, of course, but it's kind of sticky on the back so that when it's on your countertop, it doesn't move. It's not slippy on the back like this way. It's sticky this way, so it stays stuck. So this is definitely going to be a great investment when you get yours. This one is pretty and brand new. So, and I have to demo it yet, so I'm going to use my other cutting board on top. How bad is that? But you get the idea, you get the point. All right. So I'm going to be using of course, our wonderful, amazing knives. This recipe is so easy. The hardest part is finding the end that you peel off. Where do I peel? Oh, there we go. Okay. This is Pillsbury. You can either use crescent dough or the country biscuits. Usually I use the country biscuits. Not sure why I have crescent dough on my fridge. I'll take it. This is why I hate these things. They scare me every time. So simply open this up. And this one has been in my fridge for a while, so it might not be as perfect as it should be, but I figured this was a good occasion to use it up. I'm just going to unroll it and leave it in one big roll. It'll come out. Come on. I know you wanna. There we go. There. Okay, so I'm going to leave it in one big roll because these, we're not going to cut and then cut and then cut into 40 little pieces. We're going to cut this into 10 little rounds. They're going to be little cinnamon buns. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to melt a quarter of a cup of butter or margarine in my stack cooker. I'm going to always cut it in half. It'll melt a lot quicker. I'm going to put that in the microwave for about 45 seconds to melt. There we go. And now I'm going to cut this in half. And look at how easy. This is the most amazing knife. This yellow knife. Those of you, if you saw my demo that I did on my Tupper fan page the other day, I was actually slicing. Be careful when you're slicing and holding something in your hand, like half a lemon, and you're slicing across the top before you squeeze it. But yeah, if your thumb gets in the way, you would get a lovely slice on the side of your thumb, which was a little embarrassing. But until I was at my grandson's place tonight, I've got Baby Shark and Grandpa Shark Band-Aids. So I'm going to cut these into 5. Each side into 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. So about half an inch each. 4, 5. There we go. I got 6 in there, but oh well. Okay. Our butter is all nice and melted. 45 seconds. I mean, if you had to do that on the stove, what a pain this is. We're going to add in half a cup or a third of a cup of brown sugar. There we go. A third of a cup of brown sugar. And a bunch of cinnamon, about a teaspoon or so. Someone has some background noise. You can mute yourself. There's someone banging around there. There we go. I'm just going to mix that. There we go. And now, the fun part. Normally, if you were using the country biscuits, I would cut them up and then just toss them in here, put the cover on and give them a shake. But you can't do that with these because you want them to come out in nice little buns, cinnamon buns. So we're just going to put them in, scoop up a bunch, and I'm going to put them around the bottom. And I'm going to put 5 a layer. There we go. And just kind of mush them around so they're nice and cinnamon-y, sugary. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go, because they spread out quite a bit. I'm setting them out on the bottom here. And then I'm putting, oops, on there. And then I'm putting a second layer, and I'll just put these in scoop up some stuff and flip them so they're nice and goopy. 4, 5. Lovely. All right. So now I have them in 2 layers. Oh, there's McDonald's. Hang on. Let them in. All right. So now these go in the microwave on high power for 4 minutes. And that's it. So if you have friends that call at the last second wanting to come over for dinner or for coffee, not a problem. You have these on hand, you can whip them up, have them cooking in 4 minutes, and they can have hot cinnamon buns when they arrive, or an angel food cake, or a black forest cake, because you can also make cakes in the microwave in as little as 4 minutes to about 13 minutes. So it's plenty of time. If people are coming in half an hour, you can have a delicious cake ready for them. And I'm not going to take a lot of time to cook all these recipes. We don't have time for me to cook these recipes tonight, but try and do some more cooking as we go along. And that's why it's so important for those of you who are part of our Power of One Tupper family that you join us on our Winning Wednesdays and on our Sunday night cooking events. That's where you're going to learn all of these great tips and how to use your products, because that's the most important thing. So many people out there, don't know that Tupperware is still alive. That's the big thing that we need to be loud and proud about. But just as importantly, they don't know that Tupperware is more than just plastic bowls and containers. They don't know that we have the tools that can help them save time and money to eat healthier, faster, to save money on their power bills. We need to know that so that we can share that information. So thank you for being here tonight, and thank you to those who are watching it later, because yes, it is being recorded. Okay. So, some basic rules about microwave cooking. Most foods cook faster and more evenly if they're covered and if they're elevated. But what do you cover them with? Honestly, I find the best thing, I use the cover of my stack cooker a lot. I use, if you have a, sort of, these. There. Silicone mats work great as a cover. You can use most anything, but don't use paper towels. Paper towels are a fire hazard in your microwave. They are made with a lot of wood byproducts, and so there's a lot of hard chips in there. It's okay, I'm gonna post all these. You don't have to take notes, Pat. I see you. You don't have to take notes. I'm gonna post all these. Yeah, paper towels can actually catch fire, and I've had it happen twice. When I was doing a demo, once I was doing training at the old Summit party sale at our old rally room, and yeah, it caught fire in the microwave. So do not use paper towels as a cover or serviettes or anything. Another thing that is bad to use is saran wrap or plastic wrap. Saran wrap is a trade name. So plastic wrap, because it is not designed to withstand that heat. So it will start melting and all those chemicals are going to drip down into your food. So don't use saran wrap at all. Use your Tupperware and your silicone bags and all those good things. Always start with the minimum cooking time suggested and cook until it's just barely underdone. So it just has a little bit of cooking time left, because your microwave will continue to cook for about 20% of your cooking time after the timer goes ding. Now, this actually brings me to the point where I should start with not these cooking tips, but how your microwave oven actually works. Microwave ovens are basically just a 6-sided metal box, and they have a magnetron. And what the magnetron does is generate the microwaves. Microwaves are an energy wave, just like a radio wave. Are you all afraid of sitting beside your radio? No, we all do it all the time in our vehicle. Microwaves are not radioactive. They are not that strong of an energy wave. So you don't have to worry. That's the first thing about it. You don't have to worry about microwaves. Microwaves are generated by the magnetron. They come out at the speed of light, but they only travel about 5 feet before their energy is gone. So at the speed of light, you can imagine just how little time it takes to go 5 feet. So that's why they are generated at the rate of 1.5 billion with a B per second, because they're here and gone, here and gone. Before you even say here and gone, they are gone. And so they are only attracted to 3 things. And just before we do that, I'm going to show you in 4 minutes our gorgeous little cinnamon buns. Don't those look delectable? They are hot and they smell absolutely fabulous, and are the little pull-aparts that you can, you know, they're the little rounds like a cinnamon bun properly should be. So how easy is that? And about 1993, we all gained a lot of weight about 1993 because we were making a lot of cinnamon buns at our parties, I'll tell you that. Okay, but microwaves are absorbed by only 3 things: fat, water, and sugar. And there is going to be a test on that, so remember it. Fat, water, sugar. In spaghetti sauce, there's a lot of fat, water, and sugar. So remember that. Fat, water, and sugar molecules. Luckily, our food is made up of a large percentage of those, one or more of those types of molecules. So that's why microwaves work so well. So how does it work? It's just a different way of cooking. Really, instead of the radiant heat that comes from your stove, so the electricity has to come in, it has to heat up the burner, which in turn has to heat up the pot, which in turn has to heat up the oil or the water, which in turn then has to heat up the food. Microwaves bypass all that. The microwaves come in, they are absorbed by the fat, water, and sugar molecules in your food, and it's energy. So your fat, water, and sugar molecules start moving around. They get energized, just like you do. After you've had your morning coffee, you get energized. Or you had some of these cinnamon buns, you'll get energized from all that sugar. But they can't go anywhere. And so they just start rubbing against one another, rubbing up against one another. Now, if you take your hands and rub them together, and I can see you, so if you take your hands, hello, and rub them together, what happens? Come off mute and tell me, what happens?
Heat.
Heat, exactly. Why?
Because you're rubbing it together. The molecules are rubbing together.
And what's that called?
Friction.
There you go. The heat that
Do I
cooks
pass?
You pass. You pass. Yay! Gets a stuff. You get a point on the wall. That it's a very simple process. That the heat that cooks your food is generated from within the food itself. It is the heat that is generated by the friction of the molecules of your food rubbing together. That's all it is. So it bypasses all of the middlemen, as it were, from your stove. So that's why your microwaves can cook 4 to 5 to 10 times faster than on the stove or in your micro or on your oven. Now, going back to that standing time, when your timer goes ding, and isn't it nice, excuse me, that when you have set your timer and had your microwave do stuff, what can you do while that's happening? What can you do while things are cooking in your microwave?
You can clean up your mess.
You can clean up your mess. You can do whatever the heck you want. You don't have to be there watching it.
Relax and have a
Cooking
glass of
hamburger.
wine.
You can sit down and have a glass of wine. Yes, I like the way you think, Joyce. Cooking is always more fun with wine.
Right. That's another,
I just had
another
water
cooking
today,
class
so-
we should do.
Exactly. We'll do that more in the cooking class. I'll do more of a galloping gourmet thing. But the great thing is that Once you set your microwave, you can set it and essentially forget it until the timer goes ding. And even after it goes ding, it doesn't matter, because if you have gone to have a bath or you've had a lot of wine and you just can't get there quite then, that's okay. Because your food's not gonna get any more done.
Right.
Except for that standing time. And what is the standing time? It is when the molecules of those food, they're busy, busy, busy rubbing against one another. But just like when you apply the brakes to your car, those molecules don't stop just like that. They slow down. And so your food continues to cook somewhat for about 20% of your cooking time. That's what the standing time is. You can't avoid it. So if you take your food out, like if we are putting some hamburger into the, grab another. There. So let me just grab another packer here, put the colander in, and grab out my hamburger that I had for tonight, which my son-in-law bought for me. And unfortunately, Safeway only had extra lean, which actually looks like lean used to, but doesn't anymore. So this might not be as impressive as I'd like it to usually be. The last time I cooked hamburger in my stack cooker, it was lean hamburger from Sobeys, and in a pound, I got nearly a cup of fat. It was disgusting. But if you are cooking your hamburger, for example, and you take it out and you look at it and there's still some pink spots in there, don't put it back in. Put the cover on and walk away for a couple minutes while it continues to cook. And then when you come back, if it's still a little pink, okay, fine. First thing you want to do, though, is drain out any fat that has accumulated at the bottom, because that fat will attract all the microwaves. The microwaves will focus on that, not on your meat. So pour that off. That's why your micro pitcher is such an amazing addition to your kitchen. Every kitchen needs at least one, if not two, micro pitcher sets. They are the handy dandiest thing. If you don't have one in your kitchen, get it. Just trust me, just get it. And you'll be so glad that you did. But drain off that fat, and then Costco hamburger is good too. Absolutely. It's better than others. We don't know where the beef comes from, but that's a whole other issue we aren't going to get into tonight. So one thing that you may have noticed, though, is that microwaves cook from the outside in towards the center. So those magnetron, or the microwaves that are spit out by the magnetron, they are flying around inside your microwave. And they're going from the outside into the sensor. They're bouncing off the outside walls, coming into the center. And so as a general rule, your food will cook from the outside in towards the center. So if you've got something kind of thick, you'll want to leave the center kind of clear. And that will keep the food to the outside so it will cook more efficiently. I'm going to put this into the microwave on power 8 for about 4.5 minutes. Mine is a 1200 watt microwave. We're going to get into wattage right away. But excuse me just a minute. Here. That somewhere else? My grandkids from Vancouver just called. So Grandpa is, I'm having to boot him out. Go upstairs or something, dear. There. Because they'll be loud, I guarantee it. Okay, so I'm going to put this in on power 8. I'm going to get into the wattage right away here. Oops. There we go. Okay, is everybody with me so far? Makes sense? So far? Has anybody learned anything thus far? Excellent. What have you learned? Tell me quick.
That this is a good refresher.
This is a good refresher. Absolutely. Absolutely. So the standing time is important. The having things out towards the outside of your container is important. And that's where your cone can come in too. That's why we have the cone, is to keep the middle free so that the food stays around the outside. If you've got something really thick that you are cooking, like cakes or even just even a big batch of potatoes or something, putting that cone in the middle will help it to cook more efficiently. One other thing you need to consider is that there are peak power consumption periods. Peak power consumption periods. Power rush hours, I think we recognize more. That breakfast, lunch, and supper time is when everybody in the world, generally, or everybody in your immediate area, is using their electricity for their stove. They're making meals. And so it's just like water pressure, that the more people are using it, the less pressure you have. Does that make sense? So it means that if you are only used to cooking certain things at mealtime, that it's when there's not as much microwave power or as enough electricity to generate microwave power as there would be in an off-peak time. So if you're cooking in the middle of the afternoon or late in the morning before lunchtime or late at night, you're having a snack, just be aware that things may well cook a little faster because there's more electrical pressure, as it were. Think water pressure, and there's more electrical pressure. Does that make sense? Okay, excellent. So, some rules of thumb. The more dense the food, the longer it takes to cook. So, for example, broccoli as opposed to potatoes. That broccoli is less dense, it will take less time to cook than potatoes. And it's the volume more than if you've got a whole bunch of potatoes, they'll take longer to cook because it's the number of molecules that have to get going. So the bigger the volume, the longer it's going to take to cook to a point. Liquids heat fastest, especially sugary and fatty ones. The smaller the pieces, though, the faster it will cook. So there's more surface area for the microwaves to get at. So if you want your potatoes to cook faster, you can dice them up smaller, or you can add a little bit of physics to the equation and you can add pressure. And that's where something like our Tupperware microwave pressure cooker comes in. That this is, yes, very similar to the one that your mom had back in the day, or maybe your grandma had, none of you are as old as I am, but it was terrifying because it made all sorts of terrible noises and hisses and spits. And I clearly remember potatoes on the ceiling because I tried to open it too soon. And so I was terrified when they first brought this out. We all were. Ask Naomi, same thing. We got to go in and see it. Kathy, were you even there? You might have even been there. Were you? No, that might have been after your time and before your time back again. But we got invited to come in and test it out. So it was terrifying, but the safety features have been built in. And I'm not going to go into the pressure cooker a lot, but it's got the safety features. It's got the strength of material. This is actually stronger material than your stainless steel pressure cookers. It has the little pokey indicator here that indicates when it's pressurized. It has the little singing valve here that will allow excess pressure to come out. It has an extra pressure release underneath the lock here. It actually locks together. It's impossible to open it under pressure because as soon as you open this lock, it's going to release all the excess pressure if there is left in there. So, and because it's in your microwave, it's totally safe, even if anything did happen. And I have never, ever, in all the years we've had this, we've never, ever heard of anybody having any negative thing with like exploding, like you hear with Instapots and that sort of thing. You hear horrible stories about them. But with this, the only thing that might cause it to sort of kind of explode and just explode out of here, out of this little thing, is if you don't listen and pay heed to Marcia's advice, because Marcia was stupid when she was first using this. And this little indicator here, it's a T. And so it's really important that the T part be on the bottom underneath, so that when it gets pressurized, it'll go up, but it won't go up too far. If you have washed it and put it back in with the T on the top, as soon as it pressurizes,
It's going to
everything
blow.
that was inside is going to come out. This is going to come out, and followed quickly by your salsa chicken. And you'd be amazed at how much salsa chicken will fit through this little hole, because this little rubber gasket will come out as well. So, yeah, but the nice thing is it's all inside the microwave. I actually saw my host she's a teacher and some of her teacher convention. I said, oh yeah, Nada, I was talking about you last week. Remember when we had your party? She said, oh yes, the chicken. I remember the chicken. And the bad thing was, I didn't clue in why it happened. We did it again. We put in new chicken and we did it again and exploded again. I wasn't all that bright back then. I have smartened up a lot. So learn from my stupidity and always have this as a dot, not as a bar on the top. Because when you have potatoes, you can cook them in here. You can make things really quickly in here. I'm going to make some salsa chicken real fast, just because this is the great thing about the pressure cooker. Who loves their pressure cooker? Why do you love your pressure cooker, Pat? Come off, talk to me. Come off mute and talk to me. There we go.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Yes, you were.
I do it with chicken.
Yeah. What do you
And
do
I
with your...
love it. I love doing it with the chicken. I just throw everything in there. It's all done.
Yeah. So you can
Quick.
use salsa, you can use barbecue sauce, you can use whatever your little heart desires. We really like the salsa chicken here. So, and we have recipes up the wazoo for all of these of our Tupperware tools here. There are huge, huge files of recipes available to you as reps, to your customers as customers. There are lots of recipes available for them too, just like one pot kind of recipes that are
I have
just
a
so quick and so easy. Question.
I have a question. And
Sure.
so you have to have liquid completely covering whatever you're cooking?
Yes. Yes.
And it
Or
can be like
yes.
in the form of salsa, it can be in the form of juice, it could be in the form of
Precisely. Yep.
stock, anything, as long as it's
Anything
liquid.
at all. As long as it's liquid, yes. Because you need to make the pressure build up, you need the liquid to get steamy, to get hot enough that it creates steam. And that makes the pressure that is going to cause it to pressurize. And when things are cooking under pressure, the laws of physics say that they cook a lot faster. And so now that's all you need. Like I said, you can use barbecue sauce, you can use stock, you can use some wine in there, you can do whatever your little heart desires. The key, though, is that you must be aware of the maximum fill line, which is right about here, and do not fill it above that. Because if you do, it won't leave enough room for the steam to be created enough to pressurize. So if you are cooking in your pressure cooker and it's not pressurizing, this little dealy bopper here isn't, the indicator is not coming up, then it's because you've got it too full, most likely. Okay? All right. So I'm just put this, you know what? We're not going to be here in 15 minutes. So I would normally put that in the microwave for 15 minutes and then let it cook, and it'll be fine. In just a second, I'm going to let my dog get snowing out here. Daisy, come inside. You need to be sitting out there in the snow. Come on. Daisy, come in. No dog. There. Okay, in you get. There. Yes, it's been snowing here all day.
Same here.
kind of melting almost as fast as it's snowing. But yeah, we've got an inch or two still on the deck. It'll accumulate overnight.
Where do you
But yeah,
live?
I'm in Beaumont, just south of Edmonton.
And you have snow?
Yeah, it's been snowing all day.
Oh my
I'm in
goodness.
Edson.
We have lots.
Yes. And you've got, did you get snow today too, Kathy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Where are you, Joyce?
By Saskatoon in Saskatchewan.
Oh, okay. Well, it's coming.
It's
It's on
melting.
its way. It's on its way.
We had it last week.
Ah.
We haven't
Exactly.
had snow for like 2 weeks now.
Oh, there you
They-
go. Well,
They canceled the buses 3 days last week. There was
wow.
no school.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
It's crazy, and the ice is bad too. But
Yeah.
we need to get going because we've just got
Okay.
16 minutes left. Okay. Now, for fun, liquids attract microwaves first, therefore always drain between batches. So if you're doing batches of something that generates liquid, always drain in between the batch. I want to do a magic trick right now. I want to show you that microwaves that you can use foil in your microwave when you follow some basic rules. And this is a great magic trick that you can do at your parties. I know it just astonishes and amazes people. If anybody's watching the chat, I am not. So unless it pops up, I won't know. So I've got half a cup of a snack cup full of chocolate chips here, which I keep hidden in my oval number 5 that says iced tea or pasta, depending on which way I turn it. Because if I don't, it disappears. So, and I'm just going to wrap it up in this foil here. I'm making this as smooth as we can. There we go. Okay. So just squishing it down just like that. So I've got these in here. I've got some water in my micro pitcher. And I've got this glass cup from 1991 when we went to the Mayfield Dinner Theater. And I'm going to put this in my microwave 2 minutes on high power. During that time, I'm going to explain about wattage, but just to prove a point, what do you think is going to happen? This is cold, by the way. This would be, I would have a guinea pig at my parties and I'd say, okay, feel this. Are these chocolate chips cold? Yes. Is the water cold? Stick your finger in. Yes. Is the glass cold? Yes. Okay. So now we're going to put it in for 2 minutes, or 1:30, I guess is enough. This. Oh, this is a hamburger. Oh yeah, hamburger well cooked. There we go. There we go. Okay. Our hamburger is very well cooked. Let's see this. Here we go. Very well cooked. It's had standing time. It is lovely and brown. People say, oh, well, how does it brown? Are things going to get brown in the microwave? Yes, it's the fat that browns it. It gets hot. The fat cooks, it browns the meat. However it gets hot, it doesn't matter. If it's through microwaves, if it's in your fry pan, but isn't this a whole lot easier than cooking your ground meat in your frying pan where you have to stir, 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 drain, 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 clean, 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 all the splatters. And because that meat in your frying pan has been deep frying in its own fat, a lot of that fat didn't get out. What about this fat? What happened here? So the colander, to me, has always been my favorite part. My favorite part of the stack cook system because it's the one that when I cook ground meat or sausage or whatever needs to be drained, it's so nice because I can, all of this fat ends up in here instead of in here or down here. So it's one of the healthiest ways to cook. The other thing about healthy cooking is that your microwave, when you're cooking vegetables, most of your vegetables, we cook them and we eat them to get the vitamins and nutrients in them. Would you agree?
Mhm.
So if you put those vegetables, like say you make some peas and some carrots or some corn, and you put it on your stove and you put a whole bunch of water in there, and then you cook them until they're done, what do you do with the water generally?
You dump it and that's where the nutrients are.
Exactly. Because
Yep.
most of your vitamins are water soluble. And so where the water goes, so do your nutrients.
Yeah.
So Joyce is exactly right there. Now, did anybody see anything nasty coming out of here? Any arcing or anything?
No.
Ow. Okay. So the great thing about cooking in the microwave is that you can cook those vegetables and use virtually no water. It's essentially waterless cooking. So that if you have broccoli, for example, the water that you use to wash off your broccoli, that's enough. It doesn't need any more water. Most of those vegetables are 70 to 80% water anyway. So the microwaves work on the water that's already in the vegetable. You don't need to add a bunch more. If you add a bunch more, you're just defeating the purpose. So add maybe a tablespoon or two at the bottom. Put it into your vent and serve, or into your crystal wave, and cook away for 4 or 5 minutes and it'll be fine. Sometimes even 3 minutes. Now, another place that I love to do my vegetables like asparagus is the Smart Multi Cooker. This is another of our microwave cooking systems that is so multifunctional. It is the only true steamer in the world. A lot of things call themselves steamers, but they're not. Because unless they are a stainless steel bowl wrapped in plastic, which is what this is, the bowl and the cover, this is just another layer inside. Unless they are a stainless steel bowl wrapped in plastic that the microwaves cannot penetrate, the only way anything can get in here is through the holes in the bottom. And what's coming in there is steam from the water that you put below and boils, creating a true steaming effect. So this is what I love to use for cooking asparagus and a lot of my vegetables. Fish is great in here as well. You can actually stack and cook. You can put veggies on the bottom and chicken on the top or vice versa. It's really nice for chicken. You can do lots of different things, but it gets better than that because it is so multifunctional. It has the cover on the top so that you can use this for your pasta. Yes, just cook your pasta in the microwave. Boiling water is boiling water, no matter how it gets boiled. So you can use your pasta in the microwave. It's going to use about 1/8 of the power. It cooks in 1/4 the time using half the energy. The microwave is plugged into 110 volt. Your stove is plugged into 220. So automatically, your microwave is using half the energy. And it cooks so much faster because it's cutting out all those middlemen like we talked before. So being able to cook your pasta or adding in the insert here so you can cook your rice or your quinoa. And again, you don't have to think about it. You just set it and forget it. With rice and quinoa, you're going to use the same rules that you would on your stove. On your stove, you wouldn't turn it on high and walk away with a pot of rice, would you? No,
No.
you would put it on high till the rice boiled or till the water boiled, and then you turn it down to simmer, right?
Yeah.
Well, you do the same thing with your microwave. And I want to show you that too. But yeah, that's the last two things that I want to get to is wattage and showing you how to change your microwave's wattage and level cook. But first of all, I don't know if you can see this, but it is steaming. Trust me, it's out. It's hot. So that was a minute and a half. The water did absorb the microwave energy and it did heat up the water. The glass cup also absorbed the microwave energy and was actually quite hot when I took it out with absolutely nothing in it. Glass absorbs microwave energy. I am in the mode. Oh, now I'm on WhatsApp. Hello, family. What do you think happened in here?
They melted.
Why? You think so? Who thinks they melted?
I do.
Hmm. I don't know.
They better not have melted.
I don't think they did.
I'm going to look really stupid if they melted.
Oh,
They're all wrapped up in this foil, and there was no arcing or anything. Arcing happens when you use a lot of things other than pure aluminum foil. Aluminum foil is just one thing. It's aluminum, so it's one kind of molecule in there, so it's a relatively smooth surface. But as long as you have more food than foil, you're okay. So if you're reheating some pie or a meat pie in the foil pan in which it was placed, as long as you've got more by weight pie than foil, it's okay. But as if you put something in like a spoon, which is stainless steel, which is a alloy, which has lots of different sizes of molecules in there, the microwaves hit that, and there's all sorts of different. It's like going on that I want to say corrugated cement, but the cement that has all the, but it's not smooth, it's got all the little rocks in it. It's that word.
Like
Anyway.
porous? Porous?
Cement.
Yeah. Well, like your driveway. I know my girlfriend has it. It's the expensive kind of driveway that has,
Hmm.
yeah, you know what I mean. So
Mhm.
anyway, the microwaves hit that and they're kind of bouncing all over the place because it's not smooth. So
oh. They don't melt.
no problem.
Hmm.
So they were shielded by the foil. So just a little magic trick to show, yes, you can use metal in the microwave with some conditions. Okay, who was impressed by that? Please tell me you were impressed by that.
I was.
I hope you were impressed by that.
Something new.
All right. All right. Now the other thing that I want to do, I'm going to bring you over here with me. I want to bring you to my. I'm going to bring. Bob. Just a second. I need you guys hearing my. There. Sorry. Grandpa gets a little crazy when he's with the granddaughters. But I want to be able to show you. See this all right? Okay. In your microwave, first of all, the wattage, mine is a 1200 watt microwave, as an awful lot of them are. If you're looking to find your wattage, generally look on the inside of the door or on the back of your microwave, and you are looking for one word and one word only, and that is the word output. O-U-T-P-U-T, output. It might be normal output, maximum output, power output, whatever. Output is the key word, and that is the amount of power that your microwave, the maximum amount of power that your microwave can give up. The power levels allow you, it's like turning the dial on your oven for the temperature, or in your stove for the low, medium, high, that you can change your power level. Every single microwave can do this. It's just a matter of what you change first in your particular microwave. With mine, okay, that's not, oh, there we go, that's better. With mine, you push power level first and keep pushing, change it 654, and then you put in time. Or with my other microwave, that you put in the time first and then you push the power level. So it just depends on your microwave. But if you want to do step cooking, like for your rice, you'll put in your power first generally. So power 10, 6 minutes to boil your water. And then I'm going to push power again and go down to power 5 and I usually cook brown rice, so it'll be 18 minutes. And then it'll start, and there we start at the 6 minutes. And once that's done, it'll just automatically flip over to the 18. Does that make sense to everybody?
Well, I didn't know you can do that.
There you go. Virtually every microwave in the world can do that. Unless it is, there's a couple Korean brands that don't allow that. They're really little and really cheap ones that you get for 49 bucks somewhere. But other than that, most every microwave in the world allows you to do that. Now, the thing about wattage. Wattage is the amount of power that your microwave can deliver. It's exactly the same idea, like I said, as the temperature dial on your stove or your dial on your oven. Most microwaves, up until the last 10 years or so, an average microwave wattage was 800 watts. That was for many, many years. That's the wattage to which an awful lot of microwave recipes are geared towards. Now it's more 1,000 watts. It's kind of an average that microwave recipes are geared towards. If you have an 800 watt microwave, that's like cooking things in your oven on 350 degrees, which is kind of an average oven temperature. But if you've got 1,000 watt microwave, it's like cooking in your oven at about 450, 475. If you've got an 11 or 1,200 watt microwave, like an awful lot of microwaves are these days, that is like cooking in your oven at 550 to 600 degrees or self-clean.
Whoa.
Whoa, indeed. So, dear Bob, put it in your earmuffs, please. That watching the end of the curling briar is on. 2-1, Alberta. No, Manitoba is winning 2-1. Can't see what for any of you who are curling fans. But self-clean. You wouldn't cook in your oven on self-clean. So if you had a recipe that said cook on 350 degrees for X number of minutes, like a cake, and you put it in your oven on self-clean for the same amount of time, would you expect to get the same results? No, of course not. And so it is really important that you are aware of the wattage of your microwave and that you pay attention to the recipe. If the recipe says, if you've got a 1,200 watt microwave and the recipe says that it's geared to 1,000 watts, then you want to cook on power 8. That for every 100 watts you are over the average, you want to cut down your cooking time, or better yet, your cooking power by 1 level. So if your recipe says cook at 1,000, if it's designed for 1,000 watts, then cook on power 8. Cut down 2 levels. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. Cooking on high can do a lot of things, but things that you do not want to cook on high, meat, as I showed you with the hamburger, you'll find that your hamburger will be much less tough if you cook on power 7 or 8. With eggs, if you are lucky enough to have another one of our most favorite items in our home, and I'm hoping that they bring it back into the catalog soon, is the breakfast maker. We use this day in and day out. But cooking eggs, it is so important because they have such a high fat content in the yolk particularly. A, be sure that you are busting your yolk really well, and B, that you are cooking in a 1,200 watt microwave on power 4. 1,000 watt microwave, cook on power 6. 800 watt microwave, cook on power 8. So cook on power 4. Just a minute and a half for an egg on power 4 is all it takes. and you'll have an egg that is much less tough and a lot. Someone's playing with their with their microwave. All right. The last thing that I want to describe, and I didn't get around to cooking all the things that I was going to, but maybe that'll just have to be another night, is the difference between microwave safety and, oh, your washing machine. That's a very tuneful washing machine, Pat. The difference between microwave safety and microwave efficiency. And I want to do one last thing, put one last thing in to cook, because I went to all the trouble of making all these turkey burgers last night. And I got some and I want to make some. The last of our cooking systems that I was going to show off tonight is, of course, our beloved MicroPro grill. This is the only one of its kind in the world. Tupperware is the only place that you can get this. They are the ones that develop this technology and this tool, and we are the only place that you can get it. How many of you have one?
Mm-hmm.
How many of you love it?
Love it,
How
love
can
it.
you love it to the how can I possibly live without it and my
Exactly.
family live without it kind of thing?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So again, an awful lot of times, now I'm speaking to Tupperware reps at this point. A lot of times we tend to shy away from showing off or talking about our high-end items, like these 4 sets of cookware here: the stack cooker, smart multi-cooker, the grill, and the pressure cooker. We tend to shy away from promoting them. We say, well, people aren't going to want to spend $200 on this. They aren't going to spend. That's not your decision.
No.
That's their decision. Your job is to explain why these are so invaluable. How many of you are glad that you have it in your home?
Yes.
If you are, then say so
Yes.
and tell them that this is something that I love in my home. Yes, it's more of our higher end items, but you know what? It is worth every penny, even at regular price. And isn't it great that in Tupperware you have options, that you can always gather $350 worth of sales and get an item at 50% off? Take your MicroPro grill at 50% off. If you're not encouraging your hosts to take these high ticket items as their half price items, you are missing a huge opportunity. This is the best thing ever, ever. And show off why it's so amazing. What is something that you do with it that you absolutely love, that kind of astonishes you? For us, it's cooking chicken. We cook chicken breast in this every single day, but even more, I made turkey burgers last night. So I
did salmon ones. Yeah. Salmon burgers.
I flash frozen, or the salmon burgers that you get from Costco, or
No, mine
chicken.
were homemade.
Oh, yours are real. Honest to goodness, yes. But any of the frozen burgers, the chicken nuggets, any of the frozen foods that you get, putting them in here, showing that they are, even if you're doing a live demo, putting it in. There are, of course, the 2 levels. I set it just right down on top in the grill position. And I don't have to worry about it snowing out there. I don't have to worry about turning on a barbecue if I want burgers. If I want to have burgers for dinner in 10 minutes, no problem, because I'm going to put this in the microwave on high power for 6 minutes. I'm going to flip them over, put them in for another 2, and they're going to be ready to put on my bun, which they will be. Oh, consider plugging in your device. Okay, I will do that. There. So I'll show them when they're done, but you know that they're going to be amazing. Michelle, I know you love your MicroPro grill.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you joined us. What's your favorite thing to cook in it?
Mine is actually the breakfast maker.
Yes.
I make poached eggs in that.
Absolutely.
one tip I was thinking about with the higher end items
Mhm,
is I do that with my higher end items of clothing.
mhm.
Is if like I justify it in my brain of cost per wear. So the higher end items in our kitchen we could use as cost per use. So
Mhm.
if you're going to use it more, um, say
Like
every
every day.
day,
Mhm.
then your cost per use comes down drastically instead of using it just once. Like you buy a really nice leather jacket, you only use it once a year.
Mhm.
That cost per use is, or cost per wear is drastically higher as well, right? But
That
if
is an
you use,
exceptionally good point.
Mhm.
I
If you
love
use it every day, that cost per use is so low. It's like pennies.
exactly. And
Yeah.
if you are using it, if it's saving you money by being in your microwave and it's cutting down on your utility bills, well, that's saving you money there too. That is a fantastic point. Thank you
Cost
so
per
much.
use,
I am so glad
exactly.
everybody got that cost per
Mhm.
use.
Mhm.
That is great. Another thing that just came to me, this is from way back in the day, Kathy, you'll remember this, that if you have people, okay, how much did you spend on the clothes that you have on right now? On your shirt, on your sweater, on your jeans, on your purse? Is that the only outfit that you've got? And so it's probably, I shop at Costco, so it won't be that much. But for a lot of people, it's maybe 50, 60, $100. Is that the only outfit you've got? No, of course not. You've got lots of outfits. Well, then $200 for a pennies per cost per use item
Mhm.
is a great investment.
Yeah.
So you can look at it in two different ways. But thank you, Michelle. That is a absolutely fabulous, fabulous tip. So the last thing that I want to talk about is the safety versus efficiency. And this is for, or safety versus recommendation rather, for Tupperware specifically. A lot of people say, oh, well, is Tupperware microwave safe? You can tell them that Tupperware is microwave safe. All Tupperware is microwave safe, meaning that there is nothing that is going to come out of this material and go into your food, no matter how much you have killed maybe you have cooked it to death and your container is all melted. No problem. Nothing is coming out of your container into the food. But things like this or your regular Tupperware are not recommended for use in the microwave because they don't have the heat resistance to withstand the pitting and staining that can come from the high fat, sugar, and tomato sauce items that are in there. Water doesn't matter because it's not fat and sugar. Fat, sugar, tomato sauce, those are the three things that will kill Tupperware fastest. And what it does, it pits the inside. Even Crystal Wave, if you cook it too fast, it doesn't have pores, but it can still pit if it's cooked too much.
Mhm.
So it will pit, but you won't see that pitting until you put it through the dishwasher, most likely. And what happens when you take it out of the dishwasher is that the dishwasher powder residue has now gotten caught up in that very rough surface and it's made it white. How many of you have seen white patches? Very often, white patches that are in a very defined ring at the top here. And people will say, oh, it's dishwasher damage. No, it's not. It's microwave damage. It's just that the dishwasher residue has got caught in there. And you can tell that it's very definitive. You can generally scrape the white off with your fingernail. And so if you're going to be using it in the microwave, if it has fat, sugar, and tomato sauce in it, if you're not using the stack cooker, bent and serve, some of your items that are designed for use in the microwave, then be prepared that you will get microwave damage. It's not going to hurt the food. Tupperware will never hurt your food, but your food can hurt your Tupperware. So all Tupperware is safe, but not all Tupperware is recommended for use in the microwave. So with that, my laptop is about to die, so I'm going to let you go. I hope that you all learned something. Come off mute and tell me one thing quick that you learned.
I just have a
I learned so
question.
much.
Sure. Kathy, you had a question.
Yeah, I want to use my products more, like the microflow grill and stuff like that, but whereabouts do I find recipes and stuff for it? Because I want it to be an
Okay.
everyday thing for me.
Okay. You know what? Let me go grab my grab my power cord so that I can plug in my laptop and I will be able to actually show you
Okay.
on there. So let me pause for just a sec. Right back, just flash. There. Okay. Now. Is it better?
Mhm.
Okay. So you're looking for places that you can go for information, Kathy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me share here. So we're good. Is that? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let me share here. Go to Facebook. All right, and let me go to, well, first our Power of One website. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Page. That in here, there are customer groups that you can find. Minimize us and get rid of that. There are in the guides here, there are customer groups that are in here. Just scroll down here and you'll see a place that says, oh, there it is right there, P1 customer groups. So when you click on this, for your customers, you can add them to these groups. There's a pressure cooker group, there's a stack cooker group, Power Chef, and so on and so forth. So check in there, and there are all the groups: the chop and whip, the cold brew, fridge smart, master systems, grill, pressure cooker, silicone form, stack cooker. All those things are there.
Okay.
Another place that I find so much is Tupperware, TW, brochures and catalog. It's not that. Tupperware. Product information and pictures. There is another fabulous group, but another one is recipes for customers. Tupperware recipes for customers group. And the My Tupperware recipes for consultants. This is the one I find the most valuable. So if you are not part of this group, take this down and join it. And for your customers, get your customers connected to that My Tupperware recipes for customers.
Mm-hmm.
And then in here, go to media if you want the albums part of it. So there are recipes in here up the wazoo for pretty much every single product that we have had ever. Some of them, they were to a point alphabetized, but because you can't alphabetize them after the fact, they've gotten out of alphabetical order. But once you get past the all-in-one shaker, then it's all alphabetized. So if you want all the recipes for these, you'll find them, just let me find something here, the hamburger press recipes, just to show you. So the hamburger press, all of these are individual recipes. If you see one that you like, click on it, open it up, right click, save image as, and then download it as you need to your computer to save it. If you want to go to, if you want the printable version, then go to Files, And here's where it gets a little crazy, and you may or may not want to use your color printable ink here. But for the, let's see, and these are not in alphabetical order, so you kind of have to just scroll down. Where can we find the MicroPro grill, for example? Did I miss it? Nope. MicroPro grill. Stack cooker. Well, let's do stack cooker. So stack cooker, stacked recipes. There we go. Stack cooker meals, stacked meal recipes 2023. We open this up, it's a PDF. No. And I have to go to the download. There we go. And this is, whoops, I have to reshare again, I think. Yep. There we go. Now you should see microwave stack cook meals, stacked meals, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so this is how many pages? 3 of 306. So yeah, it's a little nuts, but there are gazillions of recipes. And the same thing applies for the pressure cooker, for the MicroPro grill, and so on. They're all in these pieces. So this group right here, my Tupperware recipes for consultants. Actually, let me invite you. Oops. There you are. Sent. Okay. So yeah, that's where I find all my recipes.
Okay.
Those are the two sites that are my favorite.
Mhm.
Marcia, can you invite me too? It's Crystal.
Sure.
Thank you.
Right. Are we actual friends, Crystal?
Uh,
Or Facebook friends?
no, we're not. So that,
Okay, then I can't invite you, sorry.
okay, that's fine. I took a screenshot so I can look for the site.
Yeah, just search my Tupperware recipes for consultants
Okay.
and you'll find it.
Thank you.
And then there's Tupperware recipes for customers as well.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to stop share. Any other questions that I can answer for you? Oh, let me get my turkey burger out here. Oh, one other thing about this, remember that when you take this out, that silicone gets quite hot.
Mhm.
It does get quite hot. Remember that this part is 425 degrees right there. So don't set it like this, because if you put your elbow on it or your wrist, you're going to burn the heck out of your arm. So always, it's got these little silicone feet here. Use them. That's a little trivet. That's for safety. And now, there's my turkey burgers. They are pretty much all done. I'll flip them in half. I'll cut them in half just to prove that they are done. Trust me, they are completely, they're done. I don't have to even put them back in. So that was 7 minutes. They're ready to go on my bun from frozen. This is a miracle thing. And Michelle, I absolutely adore your tip about the cost per use. That is a great, great tip for sharing. So I hope all of you will now get busy on your customer groups or in your parties. Get partying with people. But even if you're just doing lives on your customer groups and cooking up a burger or something you have in your freezer, cook it up in there. Talk about your high-end products. Don't make an assumption that people won't buy it because it's expensive. How many of them have probably plunked down a couple $100 for something that we would consider expensive, maybe a purse? People are out of their minds to pay $200, $300, $400, $500 for a purse, but people do it, and they do it all the time. There's lots of money out there. And for people that you give them the benefits. This is something that has saved us so much time and made life so easy. My son-in-law was using it tonight to cook a quesadilla for my grandson before we left. And it was so easy.
I have
So easy.
I have a couple of trucker friends at the bottom just so as to use it on the road
Yes,
because
absolutely.
they get tired of eating in restaurants and
For
expensive
sure.
too, right?
For sure.
So they pack them
Absolutely.
home and cook in their microwave. They have microwaves in their trucks.
Yes, absolutely. That is a perfect
Yeah,
example.
yeah.
Or people that,
Travel a lot.
travel a lot.
Hmm.
That I know I've taken it along when we travel, when we drive to Vancouver, and I can use it in the hotels. I know Naomi takes it all the time when she goes with her cheer group because they can't afford to go out and eat all the time. So they use it and cook right in the rooms. Between this
The
and
popcorn popper and the Micro Pro should be in your suitcase when you travel.
yes, here, here. Yes. Popcorn popper. Oh, and since we're talking about the popcorn popper, let me address this too. Because let me get up here. I have to bend down. Let me address this too, because I got a lot of flack when this popcorn popper came out. Because for years and years, I was telling people you cannot cook raw naked popcorn in your microwave because it damages your microwave. Water in here, and so it is like using your microwave empty, which is still kind of true. But the reason that this does not kill your microwave, and I have used this microwave popcorn popper a lot. Like we eat popcorn probably 3 or 4 times a week, and I cook
Hmm.
2 batches every time.
Hmm.
So it gets well used, and I haven't noticed any issue with the microwave. But it's this glass insert at the
Yeah,
bottom because that's the thing that gets hot, just like this glass did.
yeah.
It's the thing that gets hot and creates the heat that is then heating up the popcorn to the point where it's heating the water in the popcorn and causing it to become steam and bursting out. Ooh, it's 2-2 now in the ninth end. Ooh, this is a barn burner here. For any of you who care about the Briar, uh, yeah, that's why the glass disc at the bottom. And if that glass disc happens to get broken, it is a warranty thing in the first year. You cannot buy it separately.
Mm.
It is a warranty thing, but you end up getting a credit for the whole thing and you have to buy a whole new thing. They will not replace
Oh,
because they don't want people, they figure it's a safety issue that if the glass is broken, there's likely glass shards in there and they don't want people using it. Is what platinum.
hmm.
Replace the whole thing. So there you go. So that's why I haven't been lying all these years about running your microwave empty. And then raw naked popcorn is going to kill it. It doesn't. But yes, you're right. I agree with you, Joe. These two things should be in your suitcase whenever you travel.
And in your popcorn popper, the best I found that I enjoy is the white hulless that you get. You don't get as much, like scales in your teeth.
Oh, so
White hulless.
where do you get white hull-less popcorn?
I had to buy a great big bag for like $25-$30 at Early's, like at the feed and seed store. Seed and feed.
Never heard
At
of it.
Early's.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
have bunny hugs and all those weird things that we don't have in the rest of the world.
Okay. I also saw it at Sangster's too, but it's more expensive at Sangster's to buy that white hulless popcorn.
Hull-less
But
popcorn.
yeah, white hulless.
Hull-less. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I will
Yeah.
have to have a look. I
Yeah.
don't know a Sangsters either, but I'll
Oh,
check it out and see if it's even around.
Google it.
Google it. Okay. Do we have Sangsters in Alberta?
Hulless.
Kathy, have you ever heard of Sangsters?
No.
No, I haven't
No,
either. I think they're kind of a health food, if I
it
remember
is health
correctly.
food. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a franchise.
A
Health
little
food
hint, since
franchise.
we're talking about popcorn, a little hint. I get my popcorn, the Earl Redenbacher at Costco, in the big gallon thing. I keep it in my Square 3 modular mate, which
Yeah.
is exactly 1 gallon. When I first get it, I will take a slice of very fresh bread, stuff it in, close it up, let it sit for 24 hours. Take the bread out, it's all dried out. That extra moisture has been absorbed by the popcorn, which helps it to pop all that much better because it's got more water in to create steam. However, as you are already using it up, as there becomes more air in food, as there becomes more air in food, or more air in here, you want to minimize the amount of air that is in here because the air is drawing the moisture out of the food. So what I do, here's my mini that I use for measuring. I just take a plastic bag and put on the top just to kind of block the air. And as this goes down, I will actually downsize it to a square 2 that I've got handy. And then I'll downsize it more as I use it up. I'll even put a freezer mate inside there, but downsize it so you've got less air than food. And that will help to keep it more poppable.
Well, that's good to know because my popcorn is in my large carry-all. That's the kind of bag that you buy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I didn't realize about the air part.
Yep. Oh, you
Thank
definitely need, I would recommend with that large carry-all instead to split it up into
Yeah.
rectangles or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Makes
There you
sense
go.
now.
There, see? I'm glad everyone has learned something tonight. All right. Well, we are half an hour over the time that I said that it would be, but I certainly have learned something. Michelle, I absolutely adore your tip.
Yeah.
And I hope that you all have learned something as well. And I hope that you feel a little more confident. I'll post on the event, I'll post these pages that I have here. And I'll also post the links to those sites as well, the customer recipes and the recipes for consultants,
Perfect.
so that you'll have those for access. But print these off, have them, study them. Like some of these fun things, pre-cooked bottom pie shells before cooking. It's true, but cook your pies. Have you made pies in your micro grill?
No.
Greatest thing in the world, apple
I've
pie.
never even done that.
Oh my good heavens. You get your pre-made pies, pie shells.
Oh,
You take the one, you stuff it down here. You put in you make your apple mixture or your berry mixture or your whatever,
yeah.
with your apples and cinnamon and flour like you normally would. Stuff it in there. Put your other pie crust on top. Just kind of squishing them together as best you can. It's square. And then you put your cover on the top and you cook it for about 13, I think 12 or 13 minutes
On grill or casserole?
on the top one. So it's on the top. Even up,
Casserole.
I like to really fill I like to have more fruit in mine. So I actually have it sitting up on the edges in lasagna mode, we call it. You want to have lasagna nice and thick. Lasagna is fantastic in here as well. But yeah, I have it just up on the edges and then kind of turn it so that it'll catch both sides. But yeah, about 13 minutes, apple pie.
2 minutes. Okay.
Loves it. Loves it. Works like a charm. Check out those recipes for the Micro Grill. It is just crazy what you can do with this. My favorite thing that I ever made in here was a salmon fillet that I got half price at Walmart of all places. It was about yay thick on one end and then went down to the thin. So I flipped it under so it made it more even. It was frozen solid. I took it out of here, or I took it out of the freezer, put it in here, put it on the oven setting for about 8 minutes, and then on the grill for another 14 minutes from frozen solid. And that salmon was
Wow.
perfect.
Wow.
Yeah. This is this in my stack cooker. Cook otherwise. Yeah. So there you go. All right. Well, you ladies have a great night. Thank you so much. Crystal, Crystal is there. I heard her. Brenda and Tabitha. I hope that you've been there, actually been listening and have learned something. I would love it if you all went into the event and just commented there. One thing that you learned. Or go on the Power of One page.
Very
Yes.
informative.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. You're so smart.
Tell me one thing that you learned, and encourage everybody else to. I guess, be posting the recording of this. I'll talk to Naomi. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night,
Thanks, Marcia.
everybody.
Night.
Take
Good
care.
night.
Be safe on the roads if it's snowing
Yeah.
your way.
Thanks, Marcia.
Thank you,
Take
Marcia.
care. Thanks,
Night.
ladies. Good
Bye.
night.